So now within our custom component, we can define the overall length and the overall height of what we want those two contour plates to be. So let's go ahead and scroll down. Right here, this D6, if I highlight that, rotate this around, you can see here that that's going to be like the thickness or the width, depending on how you're looking at this, of the contour plate. And that'll be the same for the bottom as well. So for this component, we're going to keep these the same. So I'm going to go ahead and set all of the 6's equal to D, let's see, 14. And I'll copy that, Control C, Control V to paste that. And this is ensuring that everything is going to remain consistent. On this, if you notice this, I accidentally double clicked instead of being able to edit the value, and it just brings up the distance property. It's pretty much the same thing that we're seeing down here, just in a different dialog box. So I'm just going to close that and continue to edit these, and I'll set these to hide so that they don't show up in the dialog box. And the top one, D14, we'll leave to show. And this we're going to go ahead and call the bracket width, and we should be all set on that one. So we'll go ahead and leave that to show. This is going to be the length, or for the fitting. I'll just set that to hide, and we can come back and deal with that a little bit later. Looks like that's all set. Okay, so now what we need to do, the only ones that we have remaining are the 1'4" and then these 2 inches. Let's go ahead and deal with these 2 inches, and this is where we're going to begin getting into the parameters. So if I highlight this, it'll highlight it in the model. Let's go ahead and take a look. Which one is that? There we go. That 2 inches. So if I rotate this, this is going from the inside face of this contour plate to the center of the column. We bound that to the component plane, so that's why it's going, that's right where it was at the center of the column. So if we wanted to set up a parameter that was easy to use within the custom component, where we could just say, you know what, I want the gap between both of these to be 4 inches or 5 inches, we can control that through this, but we need to create a parameter. So I'm just going to use this button down here and click add, and at the bottom of my list it's going to put in this P1, which is parameter 1. And I'm going to set this name, I'll just go ahead and label this spacing, and we'll leave it as length, and I'm just going to set that to be 4 inches. So what we can do, back up here, let me sort this again by value and find all my 2's. So for the D, let me do this so they're back in numerical order. So for D18, the first one that we're going to do is I'm going to set this to be equals to P1, and I'm going to multiply it by 0.5. So what this is going to do is it's going to take half of that variable and divide it in 2, so that all of these are going to adjust accordingly. So the user can just input the spacing that it wants, and then the math will be done in the background behind the scenes. So you'll notice here that I set P1 to be 4 times 0.5 now gives me 2, so we know that we're okay there, and we're going to go ahead and hide all of these other values so that we don't see them. And I'll also come in here and set all of my variables that say 2 inches equal to D18. So let me first hide these, and I'll go back and do that. And these parameters that you can use are extremely powerful depending on what you need to accomplish. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can use them. We're trying to give you as many ideas as to what can be done within a custom component in this short amount of time that we have in the webinar. So let me change that. It should actually read 18. So I'll go ahead and place this in. And as if I'm doing it correctly, my values should remain 2 inches to match what my original base is coming from. So we'll go ahead and verify that there is okay, and I think everything else is looking pretty good so far.